Taurus, before you listen to anything else, take a quiet moment for yourself. The energy surrounding you from August 17th through August 23rd, 2026 feels like the moment when something you have been patiently building finally begins to show signs of life. You have spent a long time trying to keep everything stable. You have carried responsibilities, protected people you love, stayed loyal to situations that were not always easy, and continued moving even when you were tired. But this week asks you a very important question. What do you actually want now? Not what makes everyone else comfortable. Not what you are expected to do. Not what you promised someone months ago. What do you want? That question may stay in your mind throughout this week because the tarot energy around Taurus is connected with personal value, emotional security, money, relationships, and a quiet but powerful transformation. You may have reached a point where you no longer want temporary happiness. You want something real, something stable, something you can trust. And that desire is going to influence the decisions you make between August 17th and August 23rd. The beginning of the week may feel unusually reflective. You may find yourself looking back at a situation that has consumed a lot of your emotional energy. Perhaps it is a relationship that never became what you hoped it would become. Perhaps it is a career path that once felt safe but now feels limiting. Maybe it is a financial situation that has forced you to become more careful than you wanted to be. Whatever the situation is, the tarot suggests that you are beginning to see it with clearer eyes. And Taurus, this is important. You are not necessarily changing your mind. You are understanding the truth. There is a difference. Sometimes we don't see a situation clearly because we are too emotionally involved in it. We keep hoping that tomorrow will make it different. We keep thinking that if we give a little more, wait a little longer, try one more time, eventually everything will fall into place. But there comes a moment when you stop asking, how can I make this work? And you begin asking, why am I the only one trying to make it work? That question may be very important for you this week. You have a naturally loyal heart, Taurus. Once you care about someone, you don't walk away easily. You remember the good moments. You remember promises. You remember how things used to feel. And sometimes those memories can make it difficult to accept what is happening now. But the tarot encourages you to judge situations based on what they are today, not only on what they used to be. If someone loves you, let their actions show it. If someone values you, let their effort prove it. If an opportunity is truly meant for you, you shouldn't have to destroy yourself trying to hold on to it. This doesn't mean giving up. It means learning the difference between patience and self-abandonment. For Taurus who are in relationships, communication becomes important during this week. There may be an emotional subject that has been sitting quietly between you and your partner. Maybe you have been disappointed by something they did. Maybe you feel that your needs have been overlooked. Maybe you've been carrying more responsibility than you should. Or perhaps your partner has been going through something and you have been trying to understand them without making things harder. Whatever the situation, the cards encourage calm honesty. Not anger. Not silence. Not pretending everything is fine. Just honesty. You may discover that your partner has been carrying feelings too. Sometimes two people can love each other deeply and still feel lonely because neither person wants to say what is really happening inside. This week can create an opportunity to change that. A conversation that begins awkwardly could end with relief. You may finally hear something you have been waiting to hear, or you may finally say something you have been afraid to say. And once the words are spoken, you may realize that the problem was never the conversation. The problem was the fear of having it. For some Taurus, however, this same energy may reveal that a relationship has reached its natural ending. If that happens, don't immediately think you have failed. Some relationships are meant to teach us how to love. Others teach us how to love ourselves. And sometimes the most painful goodbye is also the beginning of peace. If you are single, Taurus, there is a much softer romantic energy around you. Someone may enter your awareness in a quiet and natural way. This could happen through work, mutual friends, a family connection, an online conversation, or even an ordinary situation where you don't expect anything romantic to happen. The interesting part is that this person may not rush you. They may be patient. They may listen. They may give you space. And because of that, you may initially wonder whether there is enough chemistry. But don't mistake peace for lack of attraction. You have probably experienced enough emotional uncertainty to know how exhausting it can be. This time, the tarot suggests that you may be drawn towards someone who makes you feel safe, someone who doesn't play games, someone who doesn't disappear and return whenever they feel like it, someone whose actions are consistent. And Taurus, consistency may become much more attractive to you than excitement. You may find yourself thinking, "This feels different," and it may be. But don't rush to label it. Let the connection breathe. Let time reveal the person's intentions. The best relationships don't always begin with overwhelming emotion. Sometimes they begin with comfort. Now let's talk about money, because this is one of the strongest areas in your reading. The energy around your finances from August 17th through August 23rd suggests that something is beginning to stabilize. If you've been worried about money, you may finally see a small sign that things are moving in the right direction. Could be delayed income, a new client, an additional project, payment you've been waiting for, a new job opportunity, or even an idea that could eventually create another source of income. But there is something important here. The tarot is not showing overnight wealth. It is showing foundation. And for Taurus, that may actually be more valuable. You don't need a temporary financial miracle. You need something that can last. Something that allows you to breathe. Something that gives you confidence when you look at the future. This week may encourage you to look at your money differently. Instead of asking, "How can I make more right now?" you may begin asking, "How can I build something that keeps helping me later?" That shift in thinking can change your financial future. You may also recognize that one of your existing skills has more value than you realized. Perhaps you are good at organizing. Maybe you're good with people. Maybe you have a creative ability. Maybe you understand something that other people struggle with. Maybe you've spent years developing knowledge without realizing that it could become financially useful. Don't underestimate what feels easy to you. Sometimes the thing that comes naturally to you is exactly the thing other people would love to learn. Career energy also becomes stronger around the middle of the week. Someone may notice your reliability. Taurus, you are not always the loudest person in the room. You don't necessarily need to announce every achievement. You often prefer to let your work speak for itself. And this week, that quiet consistency may finally receive attention. Someone could trust you with a larger responsibility. You may be invited into a project. You could hear about a promotion. A business opportunity could appear. Or someone may recommend you for something you didn't even know was available. Don't reject the opportunity simply because you are unsure whether you are ready. You may never feel completely ready. Sometimes confidence comes after you take the step, not before. And if an opportunity appears that makes you slightly nervous but also genuinely excited, pay attention. That combination can be important. Around August 19th and 20th, the emotional atmosphere changes. You may experience a moment of clarity that has been developing for weeks. Something suddenly makes sense. Maybe you understand why a certain person behaved the way they did. Maybe you recognize why a particular opportunity never worked out. Maybe you finally understand why you have felt restless despite having everything that once seemed important. And this realization could be surprisingly peaceful. You may not even feel angry. You may simply think, "Now I understand." That sentence can close a chapter. There are moments in life when we don't receive an apology, an explanation, or the ending we wanted. Instead, we receive understanding. And sometimes understanding is enough. You don't need every person from your past to admit what they did. You don't need them to agree with your version of events. You don't need them to validate your feelings. You can know what happened. You can know what you experienced. And you can move forward. This week may help you do exactly that. There is also a strong message about control. Taurus, you like stability. You like knowing what comes next. You like having a plan. And when something changes unexpectedly, your first reaction may be to hold on to what you know. But sometimes holding tighter doesn't create security. Sometimes it creates fear. The tarot is encouraging you to allow a little uncertainty into your life. You don't have to control every outcome. You don't have to know exactly how something will work. You don't have to protect yourself from every possible disappointment. Life cannot be completely controlled, but it can be lived. And that is the difference. As August 21st through August 23rd approaches, you may feel yourself becoming lighter. Something that has been weighing on you may no longer have the same power. You may receive news that brings relief. You may make a decision that gives you peace. You may have a conversation that changes the way you see someone. Or you may simply wake up and realize that you are no longer waiting for something that used to consume your thoughts. And that is a powerful kind of freedom. Because sometimes the greatest sign that you've healed is not that you stop remembering. It is that remembering no longer hurts in the same way. You can think about the past without wanting to return to it. You can remember someone without wanting them back. You can think about an opportunity you lost and still believe that something better can come. You can accept that a chapter ended without believing that your entire story ended with it. That is where Taurus is heading. And there is something else I want you to hear. You are not behind. You may compare your life with other people sometimes. You may see someone buying a home, someone getting married, someone starting a successful business, someone traveling, someone achieving something you thought you would have achieved by now. And you may quietly wonder, why isn't my life moving that fast? But your journey is not supposed to look like someone else's. You are building something different. And the tarot suggests that your progress may be slower in appearance but stronger underneath. Think about a tree. It takes time to grow. You don't see the roots becoming deeper every day. But when the storm comes, you discover exactly how strong those roots are. That is what this period is teaching you. You are building roots. You are learning what matters. You are becoming more selective about who gets access to your heart. You are becoming wiser about money. You are learning to protect your energy. And you are finally beginning to understand that peace is not boring. Peace is valuable. By the end of the week, you may not have every answer. But you may have something more important. A sense of direction. You may know what you don't want anymore. And sometimes that is the first step toward discovering what you truly do want. You may decide to stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop waiting. Stop trying to convince someone. Stop questioning your own value. And instead simply move forward. Quietly. Steadily. Without needing everyone to understand. The tarot's message for Taurus this week is not about forcing your future into existence. It is about allowing the right things to develop naturally. Let the right people show up. Let the wrong people reveal themselves. Let opportunities prove their value. Let your money grow through discipline. Let your heart heal at its own pace. And let yourself change. Because you are changing, Taurus. Even if you don't notice it every day. The person who once tolerated certain things is becoming someone who knows better. The person who once feared starting over is becoming someone who understands that a new beginning can be beautiful. The person who once believed security meant never changing is beginning to understand that true security comes from trusting yourself. And that may be the most important lesson of August 17th through August 23rd. You don't need to know exactly what is waiting around the corner. You only need to trust that you can handle whatever comes. If something leaves, you will survive. If something new arrives, you will recognize it. If a door closes, you will find another. If someone disappoints you, you will heal. If an opportunity appears, you will be brave enough to take it. And if life finally gives you something you've been waiting for, you will be ready to receive it. So Taurus, don't rush this week. Pay attention. Listen to the conversations. Notice the opportunities. Watch people's actions. Protect your peace. And most importantly, listen to that quiet voice inside you. Because beneath all the noise, you already know what your heart has been trying to tell you. You are not losing your direction. You are finding it. You are not falling behind. You are preparing. You are not starting from nothing. You are starting from everything you have learned. And perhaps, when this week comes to an end, you will look back and realize that the biggest change wasn't something that happened outside of you. It was something that finally changed inside you. You stopped waiting for life to give you permission. You stopped asking whether you were worthy. You stopped looking backward for answers. And you finally turned toward the future. Quietly. Patiently. But with certainty. Because Taurus, the next chapter doesn't need to be rushed. It simply needs to be yours.